In 1815, a volcano exploded so violently it changed the weather on the entire planet for a full year. The fallout accidentally produced Frankenstein and the bicycle. Here's the real chain. Mount Tambora, on an Indonesian island, erupted in April 1815 in what remains the most powerful volcanic eruption ever recorded by humans. The blast was heard over 1,000 miles away, and tens of thousands of people near the volcano died in the eruption itself and the famine that followed locally. The eruption blasted an enormous volume of ash and sulfur dioxide high into the stratosphere, far above where normal weather patterns could wash it out. That sulfur formed a fine haze that spread around the entire globe over the following months, reflecting sunlight back into space before it ever reached the ground. The result was a measurable drop in global temperatures. The following year, 1816, became known across the world as the Year Without a Summer. Snow fell in New England in June. Crops failed across Europe and North America. Famine and food riots broke out in multiple countries at once. In Switzerland, the unusually cold, dark, rainy summer trapped a group of writers indoors at a lakeside house for days at a time. Among them was 18-year-old Mary Shelley, who, stuck inside during the freakish weather, began writing a story about a scientist who creates life from dead flesh. That story became Frankenstein, one of the most influential horror novels ever written, born directly out of a volcanic eruption on the other side of the planet. But the volcano's chain reaction didn't stop with literature. The global famine had a far more practical, far stranger consequence as well. With crops failing everywhere, feed for horses became scarce and extremely expensive across Europe, and many horses starved or were slaughtered outright. A German inventor named Karl Dreis, watching horse transportation collapse around him, set out to build a form of personal transport that needed no animal at all. In 1817, Dreis unveiled a two-wheeled wooden machine steered by handlebars and powered entirely by the rider pushing off the ground with their feet. He called it the Lauf machine, the running machine. Today we recognize it immediately as the direct ancestor of the modern bicycle. It had no pedals yet, but it proved the core concept. A human being could balance and travel efficiently on two wheels without a horse at all. The design spread quickly across Europe as a novelty and a genuinely useful low-cost alternative to a starving, unaffordable horse population. Over the following decades, inventors kept refining Dreis's concept, adding pedals, then gears, then rubber tires, evolving it step by step into the bicycle. By the late 1800s, bicycles were a global phenomenon, reshaping how ordinary people traveled, worked, and even courted each other in an era before cars. The same eruption that produced one of literature's most enduring monsters also produced one of history's most enduring machines, born from the exact same crisis. Modern climate scientists still study Tambora directly, using its well-documented aftermath as one of the best real-world case studies for how volcanic eruptions can cool the entire planet. Every bicycle on the road today, and every printing of Frankenstein on a shelf, traces back to ash that circled the globe from a single Indonesian mountain. A volcano. Nobody outside its own region even noticed at first ended up reshaping literature, transportation, and the world's understanding of its own climate. Follow Forgotten Record for more Real Chains history.